Terrorist mocks Nigerian military in viral video and calls for dialogue, says, "Your guns can't stop us from killing, kidnapping for ransom to survive." Ever wondered why banditry seems to be a game of cat and mouse, with the mouse always having the upper hand? Let's wander into a curious case of banditry, where an audacious kingpin from Zamfara state, Nigeria, throws down the gauntlet, challenging the military to swap their bullets for words. This bandit leader, in a brazen propaganda video, scoffs at the armed forces, claiming that no amount of firepower can quell the thriving banditry. Quite a bold claim, wouldn't you say? But wait, there's more to this audacious outlaw. He insists that their strength is not from the barrel of a gun, but divine. "We depend on God, and from Him we draw our strength," he proclaims. This bandit kingpin isn't just all talk, though. He flaunts his group's exploits with a certain cavalier attitude. Claims of military personnel fleeing from their posts in recent encounters, of blocking highways and abducting travelers, dealing with vigilantes, all spoken with a certain nonchalance that's rather unsettling. And then there's the mockery. The armed forces, according to our brazen bandit, are but paper tigers, bluffing about their supposed strength and prowess. "What do you think of us, some despised ragtag guys?" he jeers. It seems this bandit believes the military's bark is far worse than its bite. But here's the kicker. Amidst all these audacious claims and taunts is the call for dialogue. Yes, you heard it right. The bandit kingpin urges the military to abandon their kinetic approach, to sit across the table and talk. "It's time to go diplomatic," he declares. "It is about time to dialogue, because we're not some kids that you can easily scare away." So is the power of guns really no match for these bandits? Are these bold claims and audacious taunts just bravado? Or is there a grain of truth in them? Let's delve deeper. Is the pen, or in this case the tongue, mightier than the sword? Picture this, a battlefield where one side runs away and the other side throws a party? Now that's not your usual war scene, is it? But it seems that's exactly what happened recently, at least according to a bandit kingpin from Zamfara state. This bandit, in a rather audacious propaganda video, claims that the Nigerian military had to beat a hasty retreat during a recent encounter. He says with a chuckle, "How did you forget yesterday's engagement in such a hurry? How you fled into a nearby town because of our firepower?" Now imagine that. A bandit not just standing his ground against the military, but also having the gall to taunt them. It's like a mouse mocking a cat. Only this mouse has an AK-47 and a rather inflated sense of self-importance. But the bragging doesn't stop there. He goes on to say, "After you disgracefully fled, we proceeded westward, towards Donbaza, where we blocked the highway and abducted travelers in their numbers." You can almost picture him puffing out his chest, proud as a peacock. And then he plays the religious card. He asserts, "We depend on God, and from Him we draw our strength, contrary to you people who don't trust God, but operate without guidance." It's a fascinating mix of bravado and belief, of guns and God. But here's the kicker. He doesn't think the military can subdue them with force. In fact, he advises them to abandon their kinetic approach and toe the path of dialogue. He says, "You know you cannot stop us through the use of force. It is about time to go diplomatic. It is time to dialogue because we're not some kids that you can easily scare away." But what if this is more than just bravado? What if it's a call for a different approach? Imagine a world where a bandit becomes a diplomat. Sounds like a movie plot, right? But in our story, it's a reality that has been thrust upon us. A bandit kingpin, a character from the darkest corners of our society, has called for dialogue, a call that has sparked intense debate and questions about the nature of banditry and the efficacy of force in subduing it. The bandit in question asserted that the power of guns would never subdue banditry, a statement that may sound like a brash, defiant war cry, but when you peel back the layers, it reveals a deeper truth. They claim to draw their strength from God, not from weapons or physical might. This creates a paradox, a clash of beliefs, where the power of faith is pitted against the power of force. The bandit further claimed that they are in this fight for survival. This paints a picture of banditry not as a choice but as a desperate act of survival, a grim reality that forces us to question the societal structures that drive individuals to such extremes. They acknowledge that they are not on the right path, a startlingly self-aware admission that adds another layer to the complexity of this issue. The crux of their message, however, is a call for dialogue, a plea to trade guns for words, bullets for conversations. They suggest that the military's efforts to combat banditry with force have failed and that it's time to try a different approach. This proposal is a stark contrast to their previous bravado, revealing an unexpected and perhaps a more human side of these bandits. This call for dialogue raises a multitude of questions. Is it time to rethink our approach to tackling banditry? Can dialogue really triumph where force has failed? Should we entertain the notion of negotiating with bandits, or does this set a dangerous precedent? So is it time to trade guns for words? Let's find out. Imagine a negotiation table, not your regular corporate setting, but a dusty, makeshift table in the middle of nowhere. On one side, an armed bandit kingpin, on the other, a military official, both trying to outwit each other in a verbal duel. This isn't a scene from a Wild West movie, but a potential scenario in addressing Nigeria's banditry issue. Dialogue as a strategy brings with it some pros and cons. On one hand, it could offer a nonviolent solution to the conflict, a chance to understand the bandits' grievances and possibly address them. On the other hand, it could give these outlaws a platform, legitimizing their actions and potentially emboldening them. Think of it like trying to reason with a stubborn goat. If it works, great. If not, you've just wasted your time arguing with a goat. Whether it's a genuine call or a clever ruse, one thing is clear: the banditry issue is not black and white. So what's the moral of this story? That even bandits can be philosophers? In this curious tale of banditry, we've seen that battles are not won by firepower alone. Title: A Final Thought. The bandit kingpin's call for dialogue rather than brute force is a stark reminder that even in the face of conflict, conversation can be a powerful weapon. This bandit, despite his nefarious activities, raises a valid point. When the guns stop blazing and the dust settles, it's the words we speak and the understanding we foster that truly make a difference. So what does the future hold for combating banditry? Will we continue to rely on the power of guns, or will we toe the path of dialogue and understanding? And on that note, it's time for us to wrap up. But before we go, remember to hit that subscribe button for more intriguing insights into the world of politics. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.
Kwana biyu mutanen Najeriya to ya ake ciki, mutanen Najeriya mun ba haɗewa yanzu kam. To ya ake ciki, ya ku sojojin Najeriya, abinda za ku yi fa ƙarya kuke yi ba za